Yo, what up? This is A-Trak. You're watching PunchBowl TV. Keep it locked.
Barbara Streisand.
This year there's been like a couple of new projects and collaborations and stuff. Earlier in the year I started a collaboration with Travis Barker, the drummer. So in March we did our first run of shows together. So it's kind of like following up in what he used to do with AM basically, but with our own twist. Let me see, also, I guess just a bit before the summer, I made a sort of mixtape remix project thing called Dirty South Dance too. So, you know, as the name indicates, it's a follow-up to the first Dirty South Dance mixtape, which I actually did in 2007. Yeah, as far as Kanye, over the years we definitely had a very fruitful kind of collaborative spirit together, where, you know, it was very much of a two-way street. I think, you know, he influenced me a lot on many aspects, and I think I influenced him a lot on other aspects too. So I stopped touring with him in 2008. You know, it's been about 2.5 years that I stopped traveling with him, so I don't see him as often. So we still talk. He actually hasn't had a phone for about a year, like after the whole MTV thing last year. He gave up on a cell phone. So now I just kind of talk to him on email and I want to see him. So I catch up with him, like, you know, a couple times a year. I went out to Hawaii like earlier in the year when he was working on the album, but I didn't work very closely on the new album. I just kind of like gave him some input or whatever, but I wasn't very much involved with this new album. He's like, yeah, he's been like really sort of like in his own little bubble lately, really focused on what he wants to do, and it's cool to watch, but it's like, it's a little bit, it's like whatever's on his mind that day is what he works on. I turn to Kanye for certain little like quick pieces of advice, that's for sure. Like definitely, yeah, project names and yeah, names and titles, like anything, like, I mean, Fool's Gold, I definitely remember running that by him.
What about Duck Sauce?
Duck Sauce, I remember running that by him. It's usually like, I'll have the name figured out, but it'll be between that and another one, and it's just like, I think I know which one's good, but I just need one person with like, that one person with really strong taste to be like, no, it's definitely this one. The Consistent project was definitely a good experience. I mean, just a learning process on a lot of levels. But I think what I enjoyed the most with that project was just sort of like the experiments, like just me and her kind of figuring out our sound together. You know, because when we first started making tracks, she was just starting to rap, and I was kind of like at the time making a change in my sound and production. So kind of figuring out what kind of beats I wanted to make in a more up-tempo, kind of clubby vibe, and so we were able to, like, you know, just test stuff out together without being scared to like make a song that wasn't good, because if it wasn't good we would just not use it, but if anything we're just able to try out a bunch of stuff. So Solange is just a friend of mine. I've known her for about a year now, maybe a little more than a year. And earlier this year she told me that she wanted to start DJing. I do remember that her birthday was coming up earlier in the year, and she was going to ask for DJ equipment, so she had called me to ask you know, what to get. And then a couple weeks later, she was going to, you know, be doing her first gig in New York, which is where I live. And she was like, hey, can I come by your apartment and practice a little bit? Can you show me some tips? So like, there was that one time when she came to my apartment. But I remember she'd already been practicing, and she was like able to beat match already. So I was like, you're already way better than all the other celebrity DJs. Yeah, the rest of the year for me, I think is going to be more of a focus on production. I'm not really doing any more big tours until basically New Year's itself. You know, for around New Year's I'll be going to Australia. But so during the fall, I'll mostly be just at home working on music. I'm starting to work on an album, and, you know, working on a track, on some tracks with a couple of friends who are making albums who I've promised music to.